to IB English Year 1, 11th grade English. I'm Dr. Allison. You might have me or my colleague,
Dr. Chanen,
who I think most of you will probably already know one or both of us. So welcome. We want to talk a little bit more about the year ahead a little bit today, or at least just get us started. You know, this is odd, starting off the beginning of school through an electronic means instead of face-to-face. You can imagine a lot of what we want to say to introduce you to the new 2-year course is probably going to have to be just delayed until we see you again in person. But we'll wait for that, and in the meantime,
for now, it's suffice it to say that this is a pretty big year for you guys. You're starting your college search. The grades this year are really important. You're starting IB. There's a lot of information, but it'll come later. And today, as Dr. Allison said, we're going to get right into some close analysis. And maybe even, as we go on in the next couple of days, a little bit of literary theory.
Yeah, the first thing we're starting with is actually one of the more complex components of it. Though hopefully after this unit and after a couple of years it won't seem so. I think a lot of us take for granted how we look at a text and how we make meaning of a literary text, and we want to just be a little bit more metacognitive about it and thinking about how it is that we approach text, and maybe coming to realize that there are many ways that we can make meaning out of a literary text. We're going to start by looking at that very formally.
In fact, we're going to start by not looking at a text at all, or looking at what might be a different kind of text for you. We're going to ask you to look at a painting. So we want you to think about what something means, what a painting means, what effect that painting has on you, how the painter has created those effects, and then we want you to respond on the forum. So it's a little bit different from what you're used to before.
Yeah, yeah. It should be different, but hopefully we'll begin to make some parallels with it. If you're like us at all, and I hope you are a little bit, we really enjoy this kind of analysis of everything. It could be a movie we're seeing, a television show, a painting, a literary text, conversations that we listen into that you're having amongst yourselves. But that's the kind of idea, is that all of these are potential texts, and they share some qualities that literature does, and we want to really get into a kind of deeper analysis of how those things come to make meaning. You know that I can say something like knock knock, and you already know how it proceeds, and yeah, there's something to it. You're expecting something, you know how that thing makes meaning. We just want to be a little bit more attentive to that process, and I think we'll start with hopefully a fun activity by looking at an image to begin with.
And I think we can also add, just really quickly, that every one of us makes meaning in a slightly different way. And those are all valid ways. And ultimately, the big task for you is to understand how different people make meaning with different texts, but also to be able to make meaning in a number of different ways with the text. To look at it from a variety of different perspectives, not just your usual personal perspective. So I think we're asking us to do quite a bit, but the task we have first for you is relatively simple.
Hopefully a little bit of fun. So why don't we just start with the instructions. Really, this is just, again, a very brief introduction. We don't want to give you the instructions via this medium, per se, so we'll ask you, the first thing to do is to go to the portal, where you're going to find much more explicit and detailed instructions that should be available in 3 different places so that you're sure to find it. We've got, check up here, the bulletin board. So that's the upper left thing, I think, of your screen. There, in the resources on the right of your screen, there'll be a folder called School Closure Folder, and documents in there. And then again, down toward the bottom, the discussion forum, or discussion board that we're going to use for a forum that will ask you to be doing some of your writing there. Okay?
When you look at the assignments, when you look at the picture and respond on the forum, be sure to remember that we really want you to think, and essentially think out loud on the forum, but we also want you to feel free to respond to each other, to enter into a dialogue. So if you respond on the forum in the morning, you do this homework assignment or this class assignment early, check back later in the day to see if anyone else has added something, added a response, to see if you want to comment. Could be a little bit more dynamic than just putting your thoughts on a page.
And check back in the portal often too, because there may be lots of new exciting videos like this.
Yeah, hopefully. This is just an introductory video. This is just giving you a very small
It is
taste
tip of the
of
iceberg.
the great entertainment to come. So I think later we'll have some instructional videos, maybe some of our own commentary on the painting, and you'll be astounded.